Labor's backpacker tax victory in the Senate cuts celebration short for the coalition. Analysis. That Mass National's press conference on Monday to celebrate passage of a 15% backpacker tax now looks squirmingly, embarrassingly premature. In fact, the entire government has been caught backslapping on the backpacker matter before it was entitled to. Labor today outplayed the government on that very tax by getting Senate support for its 10.5% level, which would be accompanied by a big hit to the budget bottom line. The coalition achieved the swift passage of the Australian Building and Construction Commission legislation, the government's achingly desired legislative goal. But the Senate then quickly moved the 10.5% rate, and it was accepted 35-32 with the support of One Nation renegade Rod Colton, spurning the 15% compromise figure of estranged leader Pauline Hanson, Jacques Lambie, David Leongelm, Darren Hinch and the Greens. Now the House of Representatives must use the final, scheduled day and a half of Parliament to decide whether it will accept the 10.5% and for the Senate to consider whatever that decision might be. The government's ABC celebration suddenly looked flat, and the carefully nurtured boast of managing a difficult Senate harder to sustain. The backpacker tax is not a raging public issue for most voters. But it is an important issue for the horticultural industry, which will be unhappy with the sudden uncertainty around labor supply during the picking season. The tax rate options have jumped among 33.5% to 19% to 15% to 10.5%, each level coming with extensive debate over whether the growers and the budget would be better or worse off. If the tax rate isn't changed, the top level will apply from January 1, and visitors on working visas might be deterred from coming. That's the industry concern. There is a sense that the issue has drained much of the spirit of negotiation within the upper house, a form of compromise exhaustion. Mr. Hinch today indicated he wasn't moving off 10.5%, and Mr. Colton said that as a farmer he believed that was the appropriate level. For the government, the only acceptable outcome is passage of legislation to close the matter and not leave hanging a relatively basic matter made complicated by its Senate vulnerability.